UFC Flyweight, Tyson Nam. Thank you so much for coming on, man. Back to back, 3 month span. You're back in the cage. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Training's going right. Uh, Diet's going right. Everything's all right, all right, all right.
All right. No, I saw something online. I think it was on Twitter. You ate an edible. USADA was coming to your doorstep.
Oh
What's the story
God.
behind that one?
Literally, like, ate an edible. 5 minutes, they called me where I'm at, and by the time that they got here, man, I was just floating in the clouds. It was just one of those things where it was just hilarious to me that I mean, it couldn't have been a more perfect timing.
I guess people can't complain about USADA not testing fighters, right?
Of course not. I mean, like marijuana, THC is all good up until in competition, which is literally like the day of the fight. So, I mean, out of competition, I mean, just because for myself personally, I'm allergic to things like Advil and Aleve that helps with like pain and inflammation, and uh, THC, CBD is the only thing that I can take that where I won't be getting an allergic reaction to. So it's the only type of medication that I can take to help alleviate all these stresses that we put our bodies through while we're training for up and coming fights.
Definitely, natural, organic. You need all of that. Do you
Hmm.
participate even before you go train? I've seen a lot of fighters doing that. They say it helps them, get their mind right before, going in there and punching each other.
I don't personally, because
Mm.
I would probably just want to fall asleep or go and eat something instead of actually training if I'm in that state of mind. It's definitely more of something where at the end of the day, when I'm done with everything, I ain't got nothing else going on, is when I'll medicate myself with it.
Completely opposite from that. Let's talk about your last fight. You went in there and
Yeah.
you slept a high level striker in Adashev. Was that the most satisfying knockout of your career with everything going on in your life?
Not the most satisfying because I've had big knockouts before, but it was definitely satisfying that I was able to finally do it in the UFC in front of um, maybe people watching in the United States, because I've done it in Brazil, I've done it in Russia, but I finally was able to do it on the U.S. soil.
Was it like a I told you so moment in a way, you know what I mean? Like cuz there, a lot of people probably when they saw your first two fights, they're like, "Man, they probably heard the hype, but they just didn't see it." And this time you got to, express yourself and prove them wrong.
I mean, it was a thing, I my first two fights in the UFC, I'm going up with the number five guy. I'm not going up with the number seven guy. I mean, of course, it's never going to be an easy night out, but I would say that I was much more prepared. It took a whole pandemic to actually for me to actually train full time as a fighter, because not up until my last fight, I've never trained full time, which I think has paid dividends in just making this 24/7 for me now.
Yeah, you mentioned that in the post fight interview, you carried a lot of weight into this fight. Is it alleviated? Is that weight off your shoulders now? Are you more relaxed?
No, I that was just the first step in a lot more that I want to accomplish under the UFC banner. Um, Started off with Adashev, and I want to take it to number 10, or maybe he's number 9 right now, Matt Schnell, and keep on climbing the ranks. And 2020 is big. I mean, so much going on in the world and so much going on in my life personally, just trying to block everything else out and just focus on what we do as fighters, is just fight and entertain people while you guys are sitting at home watching the TV with nothing else to do.
Going back to what you said about training full time, this is the first time, or last camp was the first time where you actually didn't work and you just trained and focused on the fight. And then it resulted in a knockout and a bonus. Now you go into this fight, having that extra cash must be nice for you.
It's real nice, but at the same time, I can't even spend it on anything. I can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
It's just sitting in my bank account. What am I gonna do? I'm just gonna buy food. I mean, we can't even go to like nice restaurants or anything. But at the same time, I like looking at the number when I open up my bank account. But maybe when everything goes back to normal, I can spend a little bit of it when the time is right.
Yeah, it could be a blessing though at the same time, right? It could accumulate while it's in the bank.
Yeah, yeah. Keep on stacking it.
Exactly. Now, when you did get back to Hawaii, did you think, okay, I'm gonna get another fight real quick. I'm gonna jump back into training and wait for the call, basically.
I thought so. But even like a 3 months in between fights is probably better for me. But I was ready to go with whether it was next week, next month. I think 3 months. I ain't no spring chicken. I'm 36. I think 3 months in between fights is actually more beneficial for me. This way, I can go through the whole process of building and peaking out for another fight again. But yeah, I'm always ready to go. Like I said, I'm not working anymore. I'm just training full time, so prepared.
With that said, anything different about the training camps since you do have more time to focus on the fight? Is it just the same formula?
I Now that I'm able to train full time, it's I'm able to work out in the morning, recover, and have a better, more beneficial practice in the evening. Like when I was working, I would go to practice in the morning, then I'd have to go straight to work, and then straight from work, I would have to go to training. And I mean, work in general. I do one-on-one training sessions. It's not laborious, but more than physical, it's more just mentally draining. And I mean, sometimes the mental aspect of just being mentally drained is a little bit more taxing than just being physically drained. But whether I was training and working at the same time, was kind of like both mentally and physically. I was drained going into an evening practice, so at least now I get to recover and go a little bit fresher into my evening practices.
Do you see that it affects your mood also throughout the day? That like you said, mentally, your head is clear heading into those evening practices.
I think so. I feel like I'm a little bit easier to be around. I'm not just grouchy the whole damn day. Yeah. I was literally in a gym, the entire day. At least I can step outside, get some fresh air, get some sunshine. I mean, here in Hawaii, even when it's winter time, I mean, it's still sunny outside, and I think just getting a little bit of sunshine is helps to lighten up your mood.
Now, with your upcoming fight, you get another crack at a ranked guy. He's top 10. You've done that before. What's different about this fight going in against Matt Schnell?
Um, Nothing different. I always look at my opponent as another man. So, and I feel like I I can always knock somebody out at any given moment, whether you're number 10, number 6, number 5. For me, and out you go.
Now, with the flyweights, do you feel like you and of course, there's the champ Figueiredo, but do you see any other guys that have that ability to knock somebody out that quick?
Well, I mean, as of recent, I mean, I feel like that the flyweights weren't really on spotlight because we didn't have a lot of finishes like the bigger weight classes. But as of recent, man, people been leg kicking people, been knocking people out, and I mean, we put out a pretty high pace just because we have less body mass. So I mean, we can definitely go faster for a little bit longer. But we've been finishing fights and getting up on there on performance of the night bonuses for the flyweight. So I feel like flyweight's a hot division right now. We got a bunch of killers, and yeah, watch out when the flyweights come around.
How do you think Schnell's style stacks up against your style?
Well, Schnell, I mean, he's top 10 for a reason. He's good in striking. He's really good on top of the ground in grappling. So, I mean, any which way he's good. But as for myself, like I said, I just got freakish knockout power. I feel like I am the hardest hitting flyweight in the UFC, hands down.
Yeah, going back to that knockout, I don't think I've seen a knockout like that in the flyweight division in a long time. Maybe the last time was Demetrius Johnson when he knocked out Joseph Benavidez, where the opponent was completely asleep.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times, like these finishes from the flyweights, you get knocked down, you get TKO'd,
Hmm.
but I mean, it's a little bit different when I hit people. I mean, they literally go unconscious for like a couple of minutes where they're snoring, sleeping in la la land. So I don't know what it is, but I mean, it's definitely something that I like doing.
Yeah, it's in the genes. It's the genetics. I
I
think
think
that's all it
so. It's in
is.
the water over here in
Yeah,
Hawaii or something.
exactly. Um, with Chanel, in his last performance against Alexandre Pantoja, he was knocked out. Do you feel like that could have an effect on how he approaches you? Because you do have that knockout power also.
I'm sure anybody that I face, I mean, it's not a mystery or surprise what I'm wanting to do. But I think I've planned my training, picked my partners specifically for Schnell so I can, work my game plan and try to come away with how I like winning fights.
Also, do you even see this fight going out the first round? Do you envision it going out the first round in this fight?
I, I don't think so. I mean, I'm a finisher. Matt Schnell's a finisher, so someone probably is going to get finished and pretty quickly. I mean, we're both hungry. It is 2020, ain't nothing going good in this year, so we want to do something good, something big, something entertaining for the fans.
I want to get into the division, right? Big news came out. Cody Garbrandt is jumping the line to get the title shot against Figueiredo. Do you see the logic behind that, or is it just ridiculous in your mind?
No, I mean he's a former world champion. I mean, former world champion never goes away. It's always your title, and I ain't got no problems with it. I mean, shit, he's been a top five guy for a very long time since he started. I mean, so I mean I ain't got no problems with it. I mean, and you know it's not like I'm fighting them, so it's not like I'm worried about them. I'm worrying about my opponent that's put right in front of me at the time. So no problems, no problems.
How do you see that fight playing out though, with Garbrandt dropping down to 125 for 135? You've seen Dillashaw do it, and it didn't work out too well for him.
Um, I feel like just having to put in the hard work to make 125. That's the biggest thing. That because Cody's not like the biggest bantamweight, so I know he can make 125. Like for myself, I'm always one of the biggest 125ers, and it just comes down to like discipline. I can't have this piece of cake, or I gotta cut back on the proportions. I gotta do a little bit of extra cardio to make the weight, and so it's just gonna come down to discipline and just making sure you not don't have too big of a weight cut the night before it, so that you can feel fresh on a fight night. But all in all, I think he brings excitement to this flyweight division. He's gonna do good. I mean, it's definitely gonna be a fire fight between both of them. It's definitely gonna be something to where it better be a main event because something big's gonna happen.
Yeah, yeah. I agree with bringing some hype to the division, but there's a lot of guys that are coming up right now that are bringing a lot of hype, just like yourself. So it's exciting times, like you said. I'm just hoping that Figueiredo doesn't miss weight for his own title fight.
Ugh, that'd be so embarrassing. I mean, mate, making or even just missing weight in general is one of those things where you can't stand somebody that does it. I don't care if it's in a amateur fight, a professional fight. let alone a world title fight. I mean, something like that happens. I mean, shit, take that belt away from him, because if you can't defend it, obviously that to me is literally like you're forfeiting if you can't make it, right? So you should not be having the opportunity to even have that around your waist.
Yeah, man. Well, that fight's gonna happen, and right now you're creeping up the rankings. September 12th is your next fight. Matt Schnell, big one,
Mm-hmm.
top 10 opponent. Thank you, Tyson, always for the time, and good luck on the fight, man, and be safe, and we'll be speaking soon, man. Of course.
Yeah, let's do it again. Thanks a lot, John.
Hey guys, Sasha Platnikoff here, letting you know to tune in to SCMP Post Fight for all your weekly martial arts news.